Everybody know about that little detail? Well, it looks like we're about to be underway. Victor Santa Fe getting into game. Looks like we might be running just with Victor for a little while as Trails hopefully gets sorted out in the near future.
And Eastern Palace is in Trophy Cave, is where Trophy Cave was. And that's one of the Bagoo forest tiles. And it looks like forest encounters have become graveyard encounters in the basic area.
Well, this is a randomizer after all. Oh, well, we got ourselves a town hiding in a cave.
That is Saria Watertown in Parappa Pass-Through Cave. Which means it looks like you're going to have to get... Looks like you're going to have to get Bagoo to get up to where Palace 1 should be.
Well, we could have a lot of different places that end up getting us to that first palace.
Yes. Oh, okay. Oh. It won't. It's not necessarily the Parappa Pass-Through Cave. We'll go to the other Parappa part of the pass-through.
Well, we've already seen that's not the case because we've gone into the Parappa pass-through and we're in a town. So we could end up going where the town tile would be. Oh wow! Looks like getting thunder right off the bat.
Thunder from Watertown of Saria at 86. At 86 for level 1.
So that's pretty good.
That's more than pretty good. That's really good.
You know, you either get 2 magic jars or 1 drop on the cost of it and a magic jar, and I think you're good to go on being able to at least cast thunder. Oh, wow. A town is actually a town.
And is this Jump Town? Or is this Shield Town?
The
Shield
easiest
Town.
way to figure it out is to see where the spell is in the list of the grand scheme of things. So it's the first town.
Yeah, that is Shield Town, and it's Fairy in Shield Town.
So at this point, we're really only looking for Reflect and maybe Life and or Shield as kind of quality of life upgrades, as it were.
Okay, let's see what's in Eastern. Let's see what's in what should be Eastern Palace. That is Trophy Cave.
Well, do you think there's actually going to be a trophy at the end of it, or something a little more helpful?
Well, I would count a heart container as being pretty helpful.
Yeah, so would I. I mean, I think I would... Oh. Victor, just not quite quick enough to switch over to Fairy, and it looks like taking a lava bath instead.
Yes. Note to Victor. Do not swim in the liquid hot magma. And we've got a Trails back, and he is in... Is that Medicine Cave?
That might be. It looks like he's in a little bit of a slideshow mode right now, but At least on my side of things, it looks like there we go. Trails is going. Looks
it's
like a
flute.
flute he's just picked up. So Trails has found the flute, and it looks like he's in the same place as Victor Santa Fe. Victor on his way in, Trails on the way out.
And a red Dyra in that cave. That is not something I ever want to see early. But it's 200. It's 200 XP for the red Dyra.
Ooh, Victor Santa Fe getting jebaited by the one-up doll. So unfortunately, we don't entirely know what Trails has, but we can make a little bit of an educated guess.
We can make an educated guess because he's done. Because he's at Magic 2, Life 3, Attack 2. And Victor Santa Fe has found Bagoo. Bagoo is in is where Jumptown should be, or where Jumptown is in Vanilla.
And it looks like Victor's headed into...
I'm guessing Trails has not gone into Saria yet because he's just going in there now.
Well, once we see his spell list, I think he'll be quite happy to see what he's going to get, as Thunder will be the reward for Trails. And we'll also get to see if the magic cost goes down. Oh, he already has Thunder. So he's been in here, taking ferry to... well, why did the ferry cross the road or fly over the river?
To get to the other side of Parappa Pass-Through Cave.
Correct answer.
And Parappa Palace is King's Tomb.
Well, now we're going to head south and see what's over there. Victor looks to be pretty close to picking up his flute. So there we go. Victor finding the flute.
Is that the Death Mountain Cave?
Yeah, Victor...
there's an any key in... That's Hammer Cave.
So we... This is going to be interesting, because now I'm not entirely sure where the runners can go at this point. Oh, we have the grass tile. So this is going to have to be something like a...
This has to be something. And it's...
like a hammer, or... Because you're technically...
I think it only can be hammer.
Because that was a one-way ticket, so...
I think it can only be hammer.
I'm kind of stuck into... Alright, what would allow the runner to progress the game? And I think Victor is going to take a little while to figure out that he's going to have to use Fairy,
and
if he even has it.
That is the first magic container cave.
Oh,
it's
so
the child.
Oh boy, the plot thickens.
Oh. Where can you...
So, turn in the child to get a spell. Oh,
but
Victor
that child
definitely
turn-in's on the other continent.
Maybe.
Oh, towns can be shuffled between continents now?
Yes.
To answer the question in chat, Xerxes, yes, first palace, The first palace is King's Tomb. Oh. Pass-through cave went to... the pass-through cave you just took went to the bridge next to Saria. Oh, sorry, Zeres. And we've got a palace. It's 3 or 6, I believe, with the scroll top columns.
Yeah, and just kind of chilling out in the middle of the forest there. So, oof. So that is not a random forest tile holding what looks to be Palace 3 or 6. We'll have to do a little more investigating to see what it ends up being. Ooh, Victor Santa Fe. Just, nope, I'm going to ferry through this particular cave. Thank you very much.
And Trails finding the finding that tile that had jebaited Victor Santa Fe. Oh, to answer Zeres, the various the palace palettes are still shuffled.
Yeah, there's unfortunately no way to determine what palace it is just by the entrance. Well, you can tell Palace 4 because of the eyeballs.
You can also tell 2 and 5 because one will have a jar in the and Trails
but you
has
can't
found
tell just absolutely by going into the dungeon and go, oh well, this is 2. It's one of those where it's 2 or 5,
True.
and you really have to poke your head into the front door, as it were.
Well, you just have to hit the knight. You just have to hit the statue, because
that's true.
Palace 2 will always give you a jar. Palace 5 will never give you a jar. And Trails gets the yak hammer.
Now see, I always thought it was like a 50-50 proposition for some of the palaces, which kind of threw me off as to like, okay, is this 2 or 5, 3 or 6? And I never wanted to exactly, hone in on, okay, well, this is... Ooh, Victor Santa Fe finds his way to the other side of the split town, and...
The other side of Split Town being the
a ferry.
The ferry cave.
Yeah, so that just leading to a dead end. Victor, unfortunately, stuck. So
Trails finds his way into Death Mountain.
So Victor's going to have to go back to where he was. He did not have enough magic to use ferry, and didn't really have any way to die either. So, or if he did, it would have been a game over. So yeah, and as the chat is finding out, yeah, go from one cave and you just kind of teleport your way around the map and, go into what you think's a palace and, hey, random encounter tile. Go.
This mode has the potential to be ultimately trolly.
Well, so far it's doing a pretty good job. Because we might have to end up, scouring just about every tile. Because we found a palace right in the middle of that forest, just to the left of... on the vanilla map where Zelda would be resting, or excuse me, to the right of it.
Where Bagoo would be.
Yeah, roughly where Trails is right now, that random tile is Palace 3 or 6.
And interesting.
So the
Yes,
smell
Trails
from-
definitely needs to smell the glove.
Well, unfortunately, he found himself a 200-point P bag. And it looks like Victor singing along to the music. Gonna find a little bit of a problem when he goes north here. Sorry, that's a king's tomb.
Wah, wah.
But this will be a little more rewarding for him as he's gonna head south for the winter.
And he will find
It was either the child or the any key
Child.
that was in here.
I think it was Child.
So now I'm interested to see what Trails has in mind, because he's on the other side of the same place where I believe Trails reset, and that was the any key and not the child, so oh well.
Whoops.
I guess the child being a little bit further down on that grass tile, but I knew
Right.
the child and the any key were in that specific area. Ooh, Trail's finding a drop down. So we'll see what... here's where Victor was blocked off. Trail's able to actually cast Fairy. So we'll see what's hiding at the end of this particular cave.
Well, that's how he got in.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Victor may well have just decided, yeah, gotta go. Bye. And Victor looks like the fairy strategy gonna come into play. Gonna get a little rough with these boomerangs, but picking up the child. Rescue mission success. Victor almost certain to just up and A out, and Trails gonna tell us if we're looking at Palace 3 or Palace 6 specifically. Pretty soon. Looks like he's going in, and this is about the only other place that the glove could logically be at this point, so...
But Glove can't be in 3 or 6. Raft has to be in here.
Do we have access to the raft spot? So doesn't the hammer block that off?
Okay, Hammer. Then it has to be Hammer in here. And it looks like it is 3 with Wizrobes in it.
Okay, yeah, I got myself confused. It was the glove that can't be in 3 or 6. So the hammer could definitely be in here. To me, that seems like it's the only item that could be in this dungeon at this point. So, oh boy. This is going to be rough for Trails. Hopefully he can, oh wow. Fought his way through, but unfortunately not able to pick up a life up. But still, making it through that particular screen, he might be able to get a use of Fairy here.
And he has no... He has no glove. And a wild buzz thunder appears in chat.
So, the palace we believe the hammer is in is glove blocked?
Well, we may not have fully explored this area, the available area yet, though. And Victor finds his way into Palace 3.
Yeah, this is just so gross. Because I'm trying to think about where you could actually go at this point, and I'm running out of options here of places I could even think of. And it looks like Victor not too thrilled about heading into the palace quite yet, and Trails is out of there as well, so... This is kind of one of those things where I'm like, okay, what random thing did I overlook in the way of... Oh, it looks like Trails might have figured it out.
Looks like Trails is going to dive Death Mountain.
Well, he was in there before, and at that first T went left. So now he's going to the right. So this is going to have to lead somewhere at this point in the way of what could be normally the hammer section of Death Mountain, where you would normally pick up the hammer. Trails doesn't look to be too interested in that particular cave. Gonna do a little bit of exploring in Death Mountain instead, so we'll see what he's got in mind here.
And he does fight a few of the true final boss, the bots.
Oh, the points for these enemies is just brutal. 10 points, 30 points.
I'm going to go with Other Shadow on this. Want to buy Candle.
This is...
Well, I think Trails noped out of the room, out of the cave, because it's a dead-end cave.
Well, Victor...
knows there were enough of those in Death Mountain.
Finding a pea bag up to life 5. So, all told, right now, Victor is just a magic and attack level behind Trails. Well, a little bit of exploration as well, perhaps, but... Ugh. This is just so brutal, because Trails is in Death Mountain, which is about the only other option that the runners have right now for finding an item. Going into Palace, what I believe is 3, since the enemy distribution. We're glove blocked there. We need to get the hammer to get rid of a couple of boulders to open up the rest of the western continent.
It has to be 3 because it's the only place you can go outside. And no, we haven't found any new items, Maris. And Victor Santa Fe finding his way into Death Mountain.
And immediately finding his way out. Just going, no thanks. It's like he's going to explore the swamp instead. And Trails
finds a heart. I mean, while that's a nice find, I don't think it's what he's looking for.
No, it looks like Trails is just going to kind of bite the bullet here. He's looked at resisting going this way for some time now, but just going to go for it at this point. So far, we're 25 minutes in, and this is just yuck. Is about the best way to describe this. It's I'm actually surprised Trails doesn't try to just use Fairy here to bypass the enemies here. Oh boy.
Oh my. That looks like Hammer Cave, though.
Yeah, so bets on forgetting to randomize the hammer out of Hammer Cave?
I think that might be the only option.
Well, potentially it could be the glove with the hammer
True.
in the palace. So we have... I think that's actually... since the glove can't be in the palace, I'm going to assume the palace has the hammer, and the glove is what Trails hopefully will find at the end of this maze shenanigans at this point.
This is just absolute shenanigans. And Dyra Hell as well.
This Trails has been hanging on a sliver of life now for a good bit of time. There has to be some way that Trails has somehow not gone, because it looks like he's just about explored everything at this point and is not...
Oh, Victor Santa Fe has found Jump Cave. Let's see where this lets out.
Because to be honest, this is really a race to figure out the Death Mountain maze. Hopefully find the item, which I'm going to assume is a glove. But it could be a hammer. It could be... You know, it could be a couple things, but it's going to have to be something that leads to progression at this point. I think I would just say, yep, thanks for playing Zelda 2 Randomizer tonight if it ends up being like a magic container. I think I would just rage quit from commentary, much less the runners just rage quitting from the seed. And Victor Santa Fe finds himself magically dumped out into a graveyard on the other side of the ledge. So, okay.
And Raft Spot is not Raft.
Looks to be just a generic encounter tile.
And we have a raft.
And then you... Well, I mean, it makes sense. The town on, the coast there, clearly a marina, so they would just give you the raft. It makes perfect sense to me.
So, where is the actual raft spot? And there's the other entrance to Death Mountain.
So the desert tile looks to be the other access into Death Mountain. It looks like Victor trying to find a way to get through this particular... Oh, yeah, use that ferry. Just get on out of there.
This is looking like... This is looking like the troll is strong with this seed. And we've got a Palace 4. And no Reflect spell.
No. Do you go in just for the item, though? Because... I'm kind of going... Where else am I going to find anything?
Where else am I going?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, where else can I find something?
I mean, it's just absolutely disgusting that you're going to have to double dip Palace 4, it looks like. But
what in this seed hasn't been disgusting?
Yeah, so far, that just perfectly fits the narrative, so... Oh boy. And it looks like,
yes, you can at least restart at palaces, I think. I probably should check. I probably should have asked before I said that, though.
Well, I haven't seen either of the runners actually do that, so I'm hesitant to confirm it. But it looks like Trails is just kind of going, alright, I'm going to bite the bullet here, look for an item, because... Ooh, look. Victor's found himself onto a nice remote little island. So Victor continuing with the exploration angle, while Trails going into Palace 4. Well, Victor noped out, it looks like. So unfortunately, we won't end up seeing what's on the island for the time being.
And yeah, I don't like noping out of there without finding out what was in the Vanilla Palace 3 location.
Yeah, that's just one of those things where you put so much effort to finally, you know, break through the first layer of the game, and up an A there is just so brutal, because, I mean, where else are you going to go? Through that whole big hula hoop madness to get back to Palace 4?
Well, Trails has found Karok. That wasn't what he was looking for.
No. But hopefully he'll remember the particular method to get there, because he'll need... So, random elevator unaligned is...
That's a thing now.
Well, at least the Iron Knuckles for Trails are just kind of, you know, chilling in their little makeshift hiding spots, and easily bypassed, trenching themselves in. And Trails with a fairy spell at the ready.
We've got the smell the glove.
All right, so Trails finds the glove. Does that send him back to Palace 3 now? Since he can get past the glove lock?
I think that's what I'd do, but then again, I'm not any good at these.
Well, it looks like Trails is gonna finish up his exploration here. Pick up his raft. Well, he's gonna check the raft spot first and find an encounter tile. And now he's gonna check the marina, find his raft, and up in A? I don't think he's gonna be able to find much else over in the particular area he's in. So Victor Santa Fe in a bit of trouble here. He's got to go to Palace 4, and he knows where it is.
Wait, but he's on Eastern Continent now.
Is he? He must have found
Yes,
the raft spot.
he must have found the raft spot.
Oh, looks like
And he's
has
found
he found
boots.
boots as well. Wow, I
has
look
found
away
das
for
Boots.
look away for just a couple moments, and so chat helping us out a little bit.
Okay, raft spot was in the swamp next to the Palace 2, the Vanilla Palace 2 spot.
Well, Victor Santa Fe is going east. Trails is going into Palace 3. So Trails does have the raft. Has the glove, which I think is going to allow him to finish Palace 3 at this point. But since we don't know where the hammer is, I think we're still going to go item hunting in Palace 3 here. Oh, Victor Santa Fe.
And Victor's found Grand Palace in...
the raft tile.
Yeah.
Looks like Old Casuto for Victor Santa Fe.
Yes, we've got an Old Casuto sighting. Old Casuto will have... Life!
The life spell. Definitely a good one to have. And I think fairly useful given that we've seen so many deaths so far from both of our runners. Yeah, Victor finding a river devil, unfortunately another boulder blocking him off. So this could be
And it's a magic container in Palace 3. So it looks like going east is the play.
Well, I think yes and no. The magic container helps. At Magic 5, I think Thunder is now on the table for Trails to be able to just simply cast it. So there is that. However, I do agree with you that heading east is the right play. However, Trails will have the advantage of having a
one palace down.
So we're still going to have to find Reflect, which I believe can only be in the west at this point. So there we go. Bit of a rough one there. Victor Santa Fe dismissing the River Devil as
Finds new
Trails.
Kasuto.
Ooh.
Needs 6 magic containers for the helpful item.
Yeah, Trails already finding one of those containers and finishing off our first palace just before 41 minutes in. So, yuck. And Victor Santa Fe.
And Victor Santa Fe finds Reflect.
Now, does that send him off to Palace 4 now? Ooh, Trails
finds Das Boots.
So we see where the boots were that Victor Santa Fe picked up previously. Can't miss them. It's just, you found your way over to the Eastern Palace, or the Eastern Continent. Here's your prize. Have some boots.
Now, where do they get onto Maze Island?
Yes. Well, you step on a raft tile to apparently go to Great Palace, so...
And Victor Santa Fe has found the mountain town of Darunia, which means he can turn in the child and get the magic there, as well as getting upstab if he wants it.
Yeah, it looks like that's what he's going for. So I don't know if Victor Santa Fe has downstab yet, though. Trails finding a remote water tile. Doesn't look like anything too impressive was out there, so gonna bail out of that. So Victor Santa Fe, having Reflect in hand at this point, can finish Palace 4, which will then allow him to go to Palace 3. Trails finding the Great Palace on the raft tile. Now, looks like he's found another spell.
Jump. Victor Santa Fe has found the Yump spell.
Trails finding his way into Old Kasuto.
That was in Darunia.
So Trails picking up his third spell, which is Life. Victor Santa Fe has the advantage of having Reflect, but Trails might be able to sniff that one out fairly soon. So it looks like Trails using the flute, dismissing the River Devil, getting rejected by 6 magic containers. Oh boy. Victor Santa Fe picking up a one-up doll. And let's see, Trails is going to pick up Reflect.
And an actual palace in the palace place, but it is Palace 6.
I think that's a definite no thank you right now. Ooh, Victor Santa Fe getting tagged right before the end of his little dodgeball act.
This seed, man. This seed.
Yeah, this is I'm trying to think, like, if it would have been about 20 or 25 minutes ago when I would have just been like, nope, I'm done. I just...
And Victor has found Palace 5.
And it looks like he's going to give it a go. So, this is interesting. Does 5 have a potential glove block in it? Because Victor not being in Palace 4 as of yet is still potentially glove locked.
Oh god, entrance shuffle.
Yeah. Please send help. And it looks like Trails is catching up to where Victor Santa Fe is. It looks like Trails gonna do a little bit of investigation and deciding
to jump into Palace 6.
Let's do it. So Palace 6 has a glove block to it. So we're seeing that, hey, the glove can't be behind a glove lock location, and that's so far Palace 3 and Palace 6. So I can no longer say I know nothing, because now I finally know something.
But where is the hammer?
Well, it could be in 5, it could be in 6. Ooh, I'm not sure if Trails wanted that drop spot, but looked like he was trying to jump over it, but we'll see. So at this point, Victor Santa Fe is in Palace 5. Trails is in Palace 6. Is it just a race to find an item at this point?
I think it is.
Because as much as I'd like to see Victor Santa Fe finish Palace 5, it's almost as important to find the item as well, which is just... Lasai. As Trails catching a little mini-boss action here in Palace 6.
He drops down an area that I'm not entirely sure he intended to.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It looks like another mini-boss fight, so this will be the second mini-boss fight of hopefully 2 for Trails. Unless he's put himself into a loop somehow.
And it's another magic container, which does give Trails the opportunity to get a the item in New Kasuto.
That is correct. So a little bit of silver lining here. Ooh, Victor Santa Fe just getting taken down by Guma. I think that was a little bit of a yeah, I want to reset this fight, start with a full bar. So Trails finding a magic jar and now finding our boss, Barba. So we'll have both of our runners. Well, oh no, Victor.
Both runners in a boss fight.
You got life spell, my dude. Use it. Oh, going for some jump strats. Think maybe that life spell would help out a little bit. So gonna stab low, jump high, hopefully repeat the process and not get trapped in the corner. Ooh, that was close.
And Trails downs Barba.
Yeah, so that'll at least temporarily, if Victor can finish this fight off, that'll be 2 palaces down for Trails as Victor about to claim his first. So now the question is, well, I guess it's not a question. Victor just turning right around and going, all right, I want the item. And question in chat, did Trails find the item in number 6? Yes, he did. It was a magic jar. So this is why we see Victor Santa Fe going back from the crystal pedestal. He's looking for the item in Palace 5. Trails looks like he's in, is that Death Valley?
Right now, Trails is up 2 dungeons to 1.
And look at what Trails found. Maze Island. Just, you know, randomly walk on lava and then, you know, the lava hardens up, forms a nice little island for you. Logic? And it looks like Trails finding a drop down, and that's medicine. So one of our Maze Island drops is the medicine. And I believe Trail's just heading right over to the second item location, trying to pull off a little fairy feat and got it. So Trail's finding Palace something. Two?
One. It's one. The monster head column tops is 1 and 4 or 1 and 4.
Okay.
And we've already seen 4.
Yes.
And it's not this reddish color.
Correct. It's also not even on the proper continent, because we know the western continent is where Palace 4 is. Oh, wow.
And we found a horse head.
Yeah, easy mode. So I think Trails might end up doing what Victor Santa Fe may have done. Try to go back, find the item in the palace. But I think Victor may have given up on that. Although he's on the right track to head into Maze Island at this point.
And I'm not entirely sure why Trail didn't, he didn't go in for the item because he doesn't need it?
Well, at this point, I'm a little afraid of, orphaning that item behind. You go, okay, it might be the cross or a candle. But if it's a trophy or, more importantly, the potential of a hammer...
Well, it can't be trophy because trophy can't be in the palace.
Ah, correct.
But it could be the hammer.
Well, the hammer at least looks like it can be worked around somewhat. But Victor Santa Fe...
Victor Santa Fe finds the medicine.
Yeah.
As one of the drop spots on Maze Island.
Yeah, Trails was in there before. I don't know if they found the second drop spot. Trails...
the second drop was either... The second drop was, I think, a heart.
Oh, Victor could definitely use that. I mean, just looking at the levels of Trails, I mean, the struggles have mostly passed at this point.
Or at least the struggles with enemies have mostly passed.
Yeah.
Now it's just finding things.
Yeah, so true. And Victor
heading into Palace 1.
Yeah, Trails should already have Palace 1 done and dusted at this point as well. So hopefully Victor will... I mean, it went by so quick, I almost know
But did he find the item?
Trails did not. And, ooh, Victor picking up the pea bag, so it looks like might do a little dueling here, trying to weasel out another level before dunking the crystal.
Halt, for the hour of the hammer is upon us.
So all that to get the 6 magic containers, and finally we get the hammer. Oh boy.
I think and Victor Santa Fe finds a magic container in Palace 1.
Well, as we know, he's definitely going to need that, but oh boy. Trails at least did not need the magic container, but he may have found it while I was watching Victor. And this should be a second palace complete in fairly short order.
If he found it, he didn't take it. If he found it, he didn't take it. Because he still got the same 6 magic containers that he had.
Yeah, so Victor gonna get about 1,000 XP from this crystal, which I believe, gonna cash in for Life 6. Oh wow, Trails managing to get through the dodgeball simulator without taking a hit, moves to the next screen transition, and then immediately gets dumpstered by a completely unseen enemy.
Well, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
But apparently not a fireball.
And we've got a Palace 5 for Trail.
Yeah, Trails into Palace 5, so this should be his 4th palace, and we already know where Palace 4 is, so I think Trails will probably save that one for last, because it was a pretty gnarly ride to get there. Although, he might be able to circumvent a lot of that having the hammer now.
And let's give a big shout out to our tracker Maris Beams, because he's tracking this with some potential power outage storms coming through his area.
You cannot praise him. It's like a whack-a-mole. He's there to be whacked with the hammer and sent back down into his little hole.
And Victor finds the cross.
That's almost like the
yeah, man. What are you doing?
Prize.
Well, what I'm doing is giving shout outs to the rest of the crew, because that's what I do.
I'm the troll at C2R.
See, this is what happens when the trackers break the rules. They're not supposed to.
Yeah. Back in your
and,
hole.
You know, and
Back
you're
in your
here,
hole of silence.
praising him and rewarding him.
Hey!
such,
Alan spoke once.
Yes, but
Not
he's
on my
Alan.
end. I would have no part of that. Anyway, after that little episode, it looks like Trail's making his way through Palace 5. Victor, is he headed to Palace 4 at this point? Maybe
Looks like it
Palace
might be.
3?
Looks like he might be.
So I think he's going, alright, Palace 3 was around here somewhere. And I think he's possibly not remembering exactly where it is. So
Well,
kinda...
but Palace 3 is still glove blocked.
That's true. So unfortunately for Victor, Palace 3 is not on the menu. But,
Trails finds Guma.
We'll see if Trails has a different strategy here. No, unfortunately, taking a death.
Trails' strategy in the first time in that fight is to get killed.
Yeah, just take the reset.
Doesn't work.
Very aggressive Trails is compared to how Victor Santa Fe handled the fight.
Well, I would say that's probably the difference between fighting Guma at life level 5, life level 4 or 5, and life level 7.
Yeah, and a higher attack level as well, because Victor now only has attack 4, and Trails has attack 5.
Also true.
So it looks like Victor's on his way to try to remember how to get to Palace 4. So it looks like we're going to see Victor off to Palace 4.
Victor trying to figure out, do you know the way to San Jose?
That's very much in doubt here with Victor. I think he...
And Trails finds Palace 2.
Oh, wow. So that's going to make things a lot easier for Trails. He is in a significant lead at this point. But Victor's into Palace 4, so he's going to get that oddball one out of the way. Also picking up the glove if he gets the item, which will give him Palace 3 access. And 6.
And to speak to what Etap in chat, if you have coin, Khajit has wares.
Ay.
That was an even worse meme than I could make.
That's
I will take that as a compliment, Maris.
You know, I thought I had bad puns, but you took the extra step. I love it.
Now I almost want to go back and play Oblivion again. Ooh, Victor, nice save with the fairy.
Very nice save from Victor there. And Trails melts Helmet Head there real quick.
Ooh, Victor making the jump across without falling down.
Impressive.
Most impressive.
And Okay. Palace 2 was stuck behind hammer, so the hammer is definitely required.
Now that's not going to do Victor any favors, unfortunately. So Trails is going to be on his way to parts unknown, it feels like, at this point, which is where Victor is right now. Actually, Trails isn't too far away from Palace 4. Having the hammer shorten that...
Yes. The hour of the hammer being upon us has made things much, much faster to get around.
Yeah, Victor having to go the long way, losing a bunch of time to Trails in just getting to Palace 4 in general. So Trails knows where Karok is and just gonna make his way straight to the boss, where Victor gonna have a go at the boss, take a death, take the reset, get rid of Karok, but he'll have to do a little item hunting. And I think Maris may have just exited the building, so I'll see if I can... And a question in chat, did Trails find out where the Great Palace was? Yes, both runners know where the Great Palace is. It is on the Western Continent raft spot to travel back to the Eastern Continent. And that question in chat, I will allow to answer itself.
And Trail's up to 6, 7, 8 on his levels.
Yeah, Trails definitely has the levels, so I'm not concerned in any way, shape, or form for Trails once he goes into the Great Palace. I think it's just a matter of execution, because he just needs to head over to the raft spot where he knows where that is. It's in the swamp. So he's heading there now. And then it's just a short little trip, I believe, to the raft spot, the actual raft spot in the Western Continent. Oh, I think you gotta go down one, Trails. There you go. Bye-bye. So Trails just needs to head a little bit south of where he is right now, and he'll be at the Great Palace.
Yes.
Did Victor pick up the gloves in Palace 4?
Oh, I sure hope he did.
Because
Otherwise...
Victor's gonna have a big problem if he did not. Unfortunately, I turned on the tracker while
okay, Victor did get the gloves.
Phone.
Thank you, ETAP. Victor did get the gloves.
Is that would be definite frown town for all if Victor did not get the gloves in Palace 4.
Frowntown is one thing, but would that take him to Flavor Town?
Unfortunately, it's I think a one-way trip to Forfeit City, because
because Trails is in Great Palace.
Yeah, and about 1 hour 15 minutes with how much of a nightmare this seed was at the start. Just about 20 minutes of business after, what felt like 40 to 45 minutes of just
Looking
spinning
at
wheels.
random places.
And now I do not know if it's a long Great Palace, short Great Palace, Thunderbird required. I'm going to assume Thunderbird required since it's classic, and it didn't say otherwise.
To answer Other Shadow, it feels like Trails just brute forced everything and it paid off. Well, kind of, yeah, it does. I don't disagree with it.
And speaking of Thunderbird, Trails
It looks like
finding a Thunderbird.
didn't notice a split before Thunderbird.
Well, we'll see if Trails ends up, for whatever reason, resetting out. It's probably going to be due to a fork having come after Thunderbird. Wow. Okay. This is a really long Great Palace. 5
And
rooms
Trails.
total? Oh my.
Oh my.
So, apparently, Great Palace is set on easy mode to make up for the 40 minutes of pain and suffering that our runners have gone through at the beginning.
And Trails is through. Trails has done with an official SRL time of 1:17:46.
Yeah, well done. I believe that would make him our first place runner.
It would.
I believe there's Sweet Love and potentially one other runner.
It's just Sweet Love.
Okay. And, well, we know where Victor Santa Fe is. So it'll be a race for the silver medal between Victor Santa Fe and Sweet Love. And Victor Santa Fe starting to lean on that life spell a bit.
Well, it's not a bad thing to lean on.
Victor making his way through Palace 3 now. Oh, Victor just kind of trying to brute force his way through the monsters here. And he will find a magic jar, so that'll give him a couple more uses of life, if not the fairy spell. And it looks like an intruder
we have
alarm.
a trail. A wild Trails appears.
What's up, guys?
How do you... Okay, your thoughts. Because I want to know what you were thinking.
I just thought it was a seed. I mean, I was a little worried. I think I jumped into Death Mountain and got a bunch of nothing early, and I spent like 30 minutes in there. I didn't place my first gem until the 40-minute mark, and I was a little concerned about.
not being able to see Sweet Love's screen, I'm not sure about him, but you placed still ahead of Victor.
Yeah, no, I feel like that glove was probably in a pretty bad location. I got lucky because by logic in the old randomizer, if you get the any key early, the raft can be in any of the palaces. That's why I jumped in Palace 3 early without the glove, because I was hoping that the raft was going to be in there. And then when I found Palace 4, I had to go through those 2 encounters to be able to even get to Palace 4, so I just figured screw it. And I got lucky.
And Victor Santa Fe not going to place a gem quite yet.
Yeah, I think with
Which
60 points
is
to
because
his next level, I think he's going to try to farm out this level.
yes.
And then dunk the gem to get another level elsewhere, if not... Oh, a convenient wild P-bag appears. So now Victor Santa Fe goes from getting 60 points to his next level to about 20 to 30.
2,000.
So definite, bonus there. So that's probably going to get Victor, I believe, Magic 6.
Magic 6 or Attack 6?
I think Attack 6 costs more. Yeah, Attack 6 costs $28.90, which will be Victor's next level.
I don't know if you guys caught it, but I skipped a lot of stuff after I had Fairy, Reflect, and Thunder. I just stopped getting spell. And I stopped looking for items.
Going to ask you about that. Was that a conscious decision that once you had the bare essentials in the way of your spells, that you're just, all right, I'm done trying to, deal with this nonsense?
Basically. I mean, I had what I needed to beat the game, and I wasn't trying to, go all out and get everything I can get. I already felt behind by that 30-minute. It wasn't 30-minute, but I spent until the 30-minute mark in Death Mountain, and I never found Hammer Cave, and at that point I was kind of like, huh. And I never did turn in that kid.
So there's a question for you from chat, Trails. Did you have any tracker for entrances, or did you just memorize it all?
I don't have a tracker for anything. I memorize it all. I don't use a tracker.
That's interesting. Victor seems to be a little bit of lost. Trails, did you have the life spell?
I did. I think that was the last thing I picked up, or second to last thing I picked up.
Okay, because Victor, I believe, turned in the child, and I'm trying to remember what spell he ended up getting.
The life spell was in Old Kasuto. Victor, in order to find the last palace, he needs to go talk to the lady in New Kasuto who has the hammer, which I got really lucky at. Because I goofed, and I decided to start skipping items, and I was like, I bailed on the item in Palace 1, and I was like, well, shoot, what if I need that hammer? And I happened to go in there and talk to her, and she happened to have it, so I got really lucky.
You did get a little lucky on that one.
Had I found the raft on the grass tile before I found Palace 4, I might not have even checked that, and I'd probably still be...
Is Victor trying to just grind a level at this point? I'm somewhat confused as to what he's trying to do right now.
He's probably looking for Palace 2.
He probably is, which means unfortunately, what he needs to do is go to New Kasuto.
Well, Trails, you unfortunately revealed to us that Palace 2 is hammer blocked.
Yeah, you didn't see that?
Yes, it's in the heart container cave. It's
No,
in the
we
hammer-blocked heart
did, but unfortunately, I don't think Victor was too privy to that knowledge. 'Cause
I don't think there was anything else. I think
there
I
were many
s-
hints around.
Nah, there are no hints in the Zelda Zelda 2 Randomizer Classic, and I hit every single tile, so I already knew that there was one other place it could have been on the Palace 3 island. I don't think I ever found that, but I think that had to be Rudo because I never found Rudo. The trophy
So I
town.
think at this point, it might just be a matter of Victor trying to remember that the New Kasuto lady is a thing, and he has the 6 magic containers for it.
Right.
It looks like Victor Santa Fe on the right track, heading to the Eastern Continent now.
If he found New Kasuto, I'm sure he talked to the lady.
I think Victor is
He
just
did find New
trying-
Kasuto.
I think Victor was just trying to find Palace 2 and may have done enough exploration to go, okay,
When he
Palace
finds
2 is hammer blocked at this point.
when he finds the hammer, he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, duh," and go back. There's only 2 hammer spots on the west that you can check, and I don't know.
Well, Victor knows Palace 2 has to be on the Western Continent because it's still split 4 palaces and 4 palaces, correct? You get the starter palace and 3 other palaces on the Western Continent, and you get Great Palace and 3 other palaces on the Western Continent.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that's how it is. But I think on this old classic version, Great Palace has to be on the Eastern Continent. And I'm hoping that he can on the next update possibly that whatchamacallit, possibly North Palace be on the East Continent. Maybe we could boot up a seed and all of a sudden we're on the East.
Oh, that would be brutal.
It'd be awesome.
That would be crazy.
So I think that would just take everything you learned in playing Zelda 2 at this point and just dumping it right on your head and going, yeah, have fun.
Well, I'm not saying that would necessarily be. I'm not saying that wouldn't be fun to watch.
I'd enjoy playing it. I don't know. I mean, having it be a flag, of course. If someone wants to have tradition.
Victor. Oh, Victor, you
Oh,
sweet
no.
summer child.
Did Victor just go right past the town he needed?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Oh man. So yeah, this was kind of a trolly seed. I don't know.
Well, yeah, we were really stretching, trying to figure out how to get through the first about 25 minutes because it was just, oh look, it's a cave. There's nothing. Oh look,
yeah.
it's a cave. There's nothing.
But Victor is going to do Palace 6, so he can complete Palace 6, and he can come back and get the hammer on his way out. I'd forgotten Palace 6 was down here.
I forget. I think Palace 6 has a magic container also. I might be wrong.
Yes.
Palace 6, we have Fred Palace 6.
So I believe you found the item in Palace 6, Trails. Because you were in Palace 6 relatively early. I think it was the second palace that you completed.
Yeah, and I missed the Canadian hole jump, and it got me to the boss quicker. Thank goodness. If that, well, Canadian hole jump is kind of early on, but God knows what's on the other side. Palace 6 is big.
I actually mentioned that because it looked like you had jumped a little too early, and I was like, all right, I think Trails wanted to try to jump the hole, which it looked like Victor Santa Fe pulled off. But
I mean, he has the jump spell.
oh, yeah. It's also about 45 minutes at this point past the point that you were into this particular dungeon. So, definitely a little easier for Victor to make that jump. But, I kind of remarked, I'm like, okay, Trails, I think, was trying to actually make that jump across, and it just wasn't meant to be, but worked out in your favor, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder if something loops him back to where he's supposed to be. Because if you miss the jump, the palace is laid out pretty nicely for you.
Well, it looks like he's found an elevator down. I'm gonna check into the IRC real quick.
He did find an elevator down.
Actually, I think this is good. I think he's on the right path, because I came in that room through the left-hand side.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you hit both of the mini-boss fights of the Ribbonacks.
Yep. And I got a clutch double level too. Barba gave you 300 XP, which is just enough for me to get a level. So when I placed that gem, I got like 2,500 XP and 2 levels.
Oh yeah, the level from the boss and then the level from the crystal right after it, definitely a good thing. So it looks like Victor heading toward the item, if memory serves correctly. Or finding that that's a dead end? No, thinking about it.
This is the item, and then down one drop is the fairy hole room, which is kind of like a Fred a little bit.
Now, for those of us who are watching and don't understand the term, could you explain the term Fred for us, please?
Okay, what Fred means is that something is in its vanilla location. It's named for Fred Coughlin, who has made a lot of randomizers.
Ah.
It's kind of a meme that a lot of people find to be old, but I still kind of find it funny. I don't know. I like it when I hear people say it, and I get it.
Fair enough. Just, every once in a while, try to expand the audience a little bit, and then it's like, wait, what are they talking about? So,
This is valid, and thank you for keeping me on that, Freako.
Oh, Victor gets the fairy in time to not drop down another screen. Now here's the question, was this the way to the boss, or was it the next drop down?
Nah, this is the right way.
Okay. Because, like I said, it's been so long since I saw you go through this dungeon. Or, excuse me, this palace. I'm like, I don't remember the the entire right way, but as we see,
And
this is
Victor finds his way into Barba.
And if as long as he doesn't game over, he'll get a double level also.
And Victor using the jackhammer strat.
a little risky, but I like it.
It's definitely a risky play at attack 5. I don't know. I would never do a jackhammer strat except for maybe if I had attack 8.
Well, he's not relying entirely on the jackhammer, so I think a little bit of moderation in the way Victor is trying to approach this fight, but
Well,
taking advantage of the opportunity as it presents
with
itself.
it.
Yeah, I've jackhammered right into the lava too many times. And the hitbox on Barbara's head is like weirdly shaped. So like sometimes you'll bounce like in an awkward direction.
But yeah, here we go. Victor cashing in, gonna pick up a level, and now dunking the crystal, giving him another level. And he's gonna hesitate a little bit, so getting attack 6 and magic 7, and then yep, gotta go. Bye. So that'll be Palace 6 down for Victor. And unfortunately, we know the way here. And it's
Oh man, did he just save?
yes, he did.
Oh
Bounced
man.
out of there. So unfortunately, this looks like it's going to be a bunch of checks for Victor, as he will put a little bit of distance between him and his objective. Which,
Well, he did. In all fairness, he did say, "I hope you guys don't have to do anything later because I'm gonna be a while."
well, Sweet Love takes the silver medal, finishing in second place in official SRL time, 1 hour, 37 minutes, 25 seconds.
Yeah, in the vanilla game, when you fall down that hole and you cast fairy and go through that weird drop, the boss is the first room in, but it was the second room in, so it was kind of a Fred.
And Victor,
Headed to the King's Tomb, although I'm not entirely certain why.
I think he's forgotten that he didn't get the item on New Kasuto.
Yeah, it'd be,
He'll remember.
well, hopefully, I'm about ready to place a bet as to if, Victor remembers the item in New Kasuto or July 4th happens. And right now, I'm putting July 4th as being the favorite. Because it looks like Victor's into Death Mountain. So, it's one of those things where it's like, I'd really love it if he could do one specific thing, and, you know, we could, like, telepathically communicate to him and go, please, go to the Eastern Continent, and he was right where he needed to be, and then just turned around and noped out of that town, which is just a killer.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's he's not remembering because he's not remembering where that hammer is.
Did he
Or-
get the spell item out of New Casino?
Well, he had a lot more spells,
No,
He doesn't have the spell.
but he does not have the spell. Neither of you had the trophy, I believe. So right now, this is a quest for the hammer. And for those who remember where it is, it's New Kasudo, locked behind the lady who says, "You win the prize if you have 6 magic containers."
no, Etap, he has found New Kasudo.
New Kasudo was right before he went into Palace 6. So we were kind of hoping he'd finish Palace 6, then go back to New Kasudo. You know, maybe the magic container in Palace 6 would have been a little bit of a reminder to go visit the old lady. But unfortunately for Victor, didn't quite catch the subtle hint.
I'd be surprised if he didn't check it sometime soon.
Well,
Because he's very...
I think he's running out of places to check.
Yeah, it
He's
looks like
pretty
he's
good at
headed
this
back
game.
over to the eastern continent because he's in the swamp. He already knows there's nothing in Death Mountain. Because he's found the items in Death Mountain. But
What was the second item? I found the kid. What was in Hammer Cave? Was that a magic container?
I believe it was a heart container.
Oh, okay.
But it was a container of some kind. And of course, you know, dumping my notes already, going, all right, well, I don't need my notes anymore because I know what we need is New Kasudo at this point for Victor Santa Fe. And it looks like,
New Kasudo, and he's got everything he needs.
yeah, New Kasudo will get him the hammer, and then it's just a matter of hammering away the boulder blocking where Palace 2 is.
And then the shortest Great Palace ever.
Yeah, just about. Was it 4 screens or 5? I think I counted 5, but it was pretty much go in, do a thing, fight Thunderbird, and literally right after that, battle Darkling.
Yeah, I mean, there was places that you could have gone, but if you held right, it was probably about 5. There were some elevators, though.
So you had some options to basically not go the right way in Great Palace.
Yeah, you did, but as long as you held right, you were good to go.
And Victor going back through Jump Cave.
He's probably gonna go take that bridge encounter that take him over to the island. What was it? What's Palace 3? Is it Maduro Island or something? I forget. The island that has Palace.
Yeah, I think so.
I just always called it Palace 3 Island.
Yeah, I think it's Maduro
If I
Island or
recall.
something.
Yeah, Midoro. Close enough.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Tingle Island.
What was that?
Tingle Island, because everyone hates Tingle.
I'm okay with this. I am in agreement with this logic. But it
And
looks
that
like
island is annoying.
But it looks like Victor headed back over toward Palace 4, so I think Victor is somewhere between completely and entirely lost. Just about going through the entirety of the Western continent at this point. Uh-oh. Victor, looking at some notes, perhaps. This is interesting. Trying to figure out perhaps what he overlooked. And it's always that bit of a bummer when you know, because of watching trails, that it's New Kasudo, and Victor, unfortunately, rechecking almost the entire Western continent that he has access to. I believe he knows Palace 2 is on this continent, but it's unfortunately hammer blocked. And the hammer is in the Eastern continent. The old lady in New Kasudo, holding back the hammer.
The only question in his mind has to be, where is that stupid hammer?
Yeah, because I think he's deduced at this point that Palace 2 is either on that island,
or it's hammer blocked,
or behind one of the hammer caves. And
I think he'll figure it out. He's been playing since before I was playing, and I just started playing only like a year ago.
This is a pointless encounter, and the marina right above it is where we get the raft. So that won't change. That's the raft spot.
and Victor has officially forfeit.
Yeah, unfortunately, Victor, citing that he could not find Palace 2, definitely give it a good effort going through the entirety of what he could in the Western continent, but it looks like it's official in the SRL that Victor hitting the forfeit. So GG's in the chat for Victor.
This Zelda 2 Randomizer Classic Edition is pretty tough, especially if you're not too familiar with the overworld, because it's more or less like a door randomizer, and it's very simple to like. I don't want to say simple. It's easy to forget stuff. You know, like I forgot a bunch of stuff when I was playing, but I don't know. It's a pretty difficult game. It takes some getting used to. I practice it from time to time, but when I first tried playing it, I was terrible. Is Victor coming in for an interview?
I do not know. I'll poke my head in the. I think he's still wanting to actually finish the seed. But unfortunately, I think with us giving him a little bit of a hint as to what it was that he was overlooking, the proper thing for Victor to do was to forfeit, as we interfered on his behalf.
Yeah, I mean, he did ask, and he did say he was going to forfeit, so it wasn't like we did it, you know.
But I think Victor is on the right track now, headed to the raft spot, forgetting which corner it was in.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be done in like 5 or 10 minutes. Just let it roll. I mean, if you guys are gonna restream and finish the seed, I mean, GP was like you guys said 5 rooms, and P2 was really quick too. If you just went down and right.
And I think Victor, remembering the general area of the raft spot, but not the specific area. There we go. Victor over to the eastern continent. He already knows where New Kasuto is. So I believe right beneath the River Devil was New Kasuto. And Victor Santa Fe should be there very shortly.
Yeah, it's just below.
Yes, New Kasuto was the first place below the River Devil. So if you have enjoyed this race, please give these runners a follow. They certainly deserve it.
Yeah, after what this seed put the runners through, yeah, this was definitely one of the more difficult seeds that I've seen as of late. It was not easy. Both of our restreamed runners struggled for what felt like a good 30 minutes before they were able to really get anything going. And it all seemed to start with a very out-of-the-way Palace 4 that got trails going, got him the glove, got him into Palace 3, and I believe it was Palace 6 after that for trails, and everything started to fall in line. Victor Santa Fe just a little bit away here, getting to the River Devil, dismissing him away, and here we go. Victor gonna pick up that one little thing that's been eluding him for a good amount of time.
Victor made a good point in the IRC chat that a palace in a hammer blocked cave. About palace in a hammer block cave.
And it looks like we're joined by Victor right now.
Hey.
So,
Hey, Victor, turn up your microphone.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. I feel stupid.
That's seed, man.
No, it's all good, Victor. This randomizer classic edition is kind of rough getting used.
Yeah, I saw quite some races, and I play. This is the second time I play it. Yeah, there are things that can escape from your grasp. But well, the more you learn, the more you know.
yeah, very true. Think you're on the right track here. The mystical Palace 2 being found by Victor Santa Fe.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I gotta congratulate Trails because he killed this one. I think he did a great job. I thought I was doing great before I knew I was missing a palace, but I thought I was gonna find it somehow. But I felt I was in a very good pace, and then Trails finished. So yeah, he always does that. He's very good at this game.
Well, you were doing pretty darn good, but there was a point at which earlier on, when you were in New Kasuto, where I think you checked the old lady, but you did not have 6 magic containers. I'm going, all right.
Yeah,
Hopefully
I only
you'll
have
remember. And unfortunately, Trails soon after found that it was the hammer she was holding on to.
Yeah, I kind of had a hint that the palace could be in a boulder block cave, but I think I did my math wrong. I was counting the caves I found, and I think, yeah, I found 4 cave items, and there are 2 boulders. So in the back of my mind, I kind of had the suspicion of it. But then I said, well, I don't know where the hell is the hammer. I still have a lot of places to check, and it is pretty late, so that's why I forfeited. But thanks to you guys giving me the hint, I will be able to finish this one.
Yeah,
And Victor melts helmet head there. Attack 6 will do that.
Palace 2 goes by pretty quick, but you're going to be in for a little bit of a treat when you go into the Great Palace.
Yeah, I guess that because of the comment that Sweet Love posted, said it was a very, I forgot the word. It was
Oh, let's see. I can bring it up.
structured. Said
Yeah,
it was very-
I don't understand how that GP is structured.
Let's find out. Let's be wacky. Let's do. I always end up going through this cave. It throws me into the Valley of Death. I don't want that. Oh yeah, this Zelda 2 Randomizer Classic is a mess. It's kind of cool, but if you miss a little bit of a thing, you're doomed.
In what way? I mean, this was definitely not an easy one by any stretch of the imagination. But can you expand on the thought process?
Yeah, the thing is, I believe it has more to do with getting used to it. And well, as I told you, this is my second time playing it. So yeah, last time it was a weekly also. The thing that happened is that I forgot the existence of a tile that is a little bit close to the King's Tomb, It's kind of like 4 tiles away from that. And I forgot that that tile existed, and that made me lose like half an hour. And well, now the thing is that I kind of thought that all boulder caves were hiding item caves, because that's a condition in the new Zelda randomizer. So yeah, I think I saw races where, for example, Trails and Unos and these guys sometimes get blocked because there are these bridge encounters, and sometimes they lead to nothing, but sometimes they lead you somewhere else. And it is kind of random, so you have to check them thoroughly. So yeah, this classic randomizer is a little bit wacky, and it is a little bit cool, but yeah, it can punish you. Let's go left at the Trails room, because that's what you do.
And Victor through the through that chicken and waffles room.
Yeah, we'll see what he has in store for the next room. Looks like a little more chicken on the menu. Ooh, taking a drop down.
Recently, I'm calling this palace the Pollos Hermanos Palace.
Uh-oh. Victor getting a little colder here. Gonna use the life spell, not throw away a extra life. I think you continued at the beginning of the dungeon, so still on 2 lives on backup.
I wonder what spell was tied to fire in this seed.
I don't believe there is one.
Yeah, I believe the classic isn't combined, but I could be missing on that too.
Because I remembered that from the first time I did the classic, that there was nothing linked into fire.
And Victor finds a dead end.
So it looks like gonna take the way he knows, going up. And more chickens. And it looks like back into the drop-down area. So gonna head right this time, see if that leads anywhere else. Looks like the ferry area. I think we're gonna keep going down. More waffles, but no chicken. Just believe a giant bot. Victor gonna take the elevator, realizing probably not the way he wants to end up going, but unfortunately finding a dead end. So back to the left we go for Vicky. Looks looks like this direction not entirely panning out. Different elevator. Let's see. Uh-oh, Victor, you're not in a loop, are you?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, that looked like the same room, but no chickens hiding in there this time. I'm gonna just hopefully run away. Looks like got there. Makes the grand escape. Ah, there you go. There's the refill potion. Spam that life spell.
I cannot believe this loop. Wow. Okay,
I think
I think I'm ahead of you guys, but oh my god. You're gonna see what happened there. That's funny.
Uh-oh. Oh, looks like taking another drop down. I think this is
So yeah, the L7
that's
drop loops into itself vertically and horizontally. That's the first time I've seen that.
so unfortunately denied going that way. So think you might want to start back out at the front of the palace at this point, Victor.
Yeah, that is a good idea. Let me check a little thing.
So, I think about the only time I remember Trails going left was when he was in the Thunderbird fight. Oh, spoilers.
Oh, adult.
Well, and Dark Link.
Oh,
Again,
yeah, that's true. You gotta...
Spoilers.
Yeah, Dark Link. Spoilers. You're gonna have to fight him, too. Surprise.
And a little digger.
This.
That's a Fred. The little digger just to the left in the...
Oh, the vanilla little digger there.
Oh, my cat's doing the feed me dance now. So anytime I try to move, the cat comes running over and it's like, it's time to feed me. Feed me. Feed me.
Well, cats are like that.
Another thing that had me worried is being able to cast thunder. And yeah, I didn't find any magic containers till very late in the game.
Yeah, Thunder was pretty expensive, wasn't it? 86 or
Yeah.
something. Wasn't
Yeah, I got down to 74 at, well, 65. 74 at Magic 6 and 65 on Magic 7. But yeah, earlier it was pretty worrying.
All right, Victor, resetting back to the beginning. So let's see, can Victor find the correct path?
So yeah, I'm gonna guess the Trails room only works on Max Random Tournament. If you take it to the left, so I'm gonna take it to the right this time.
Oh, so the Trails Room is called the Trails Room for any specific reason, or?
Well, he used it. He went to the left without looking. What was? Oh, are you kidding me? He in the tournament, in the first Max Random tournament, he went left without looking what was on the right side of it. So that he was behind in those races, and he won several of those races.
it? What happened was I used to play like 5 or 6 seeds a day. I would race like 3 or 4 and I'd play a couple. And it got to the point of where I knew that the majority of the time that was the right way. So whenever I'd fall into that room, for a period of time, for some reason now, it doesn't ever seem to work out. But for a few months there, that was the way every time.
And Victor's found Thunderbird.
Yeah, so Victor, that whole going left thing not working out so far. A little bit of going right seems to be the correct path. As looks like 2 blocks left on the Thunderbird fight for Victor. Ooh, oh no, taking 2 hits and gonna have one more go at it for Victor here with Thunderbird. Hopefully
Yeah, I
the
got
full bar
greedy.
will help out.
I got very greedy. Shit.
Uh-oh. Hopefully not getting whacked by a bunch of fireballs this time. Ah, there we go. Thunderbird down. Pick up about 1,000 XP. And what's waiting in the next room?
Fred.
Yeah, you guys trolled me. I was trolled by you guys. Wow.
Hey, we did say that the only times he went left and the only times Trails went left in all of Great Palace was during the Thunderbird fight and the Dark Link fight.
They're not
I'm
lying.
stupid. I just I just typed .done in the SRL chat. I already forfeited. I'm stupid. I feel so stupid tonight, but well, I really enjoy playing this game. As I've told you guys before, I really enjoy watching races and commentating and that stuff way more than playing. But I like playing, but I'm just not very good. I'm not competitive and I'm not good at it. Well, hope I didn't keep you guys too late.
Oh no, I think we actually kind of enjoyed having stuck through to this. Stuart just sent a message saying that he's
It was
gonna,
worth it.
bail out, but I think still here, aren't you?
I am.
That's all right. I gotta wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning myself, and it's about 11:30 right now. So pretty much right off to bed, I'll be going.
All right, I gotta get ready to go to work. You guys have a good night.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
GG Trails.
Hey, what time did the
Congratulations.
how long did it take for the streams to go up?
Good question. I think there was a problem with your stream for whatever reason, Trails. I think they couldn't crop it correctly, but it got sorted out about 5 minutes into the run for you. Victor's was up and ready to go almost immediately.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, you guys have a good night, all right? Thanks for everything.
You too.
Yeah, guys, thank you for making this possible. And yeah, good show. Good night.
Yeah, absolutely. That was Trails and Victor, our two runners for tonight. Sweet Love, also part of the race, not on the stream. So I think we're just going to get right to the ending here and say that was our Zelda 2 Randomizer weekly race. We were using the classic flags this week. We should be back to slightly more normal flags for the next couple weeks. It looks like standard Swiss, standard brackets, standard Swiss, and standard brackets for July. So no classic, but I am Frico. With me tonight was DM Stewart. And if you've got anything you'd like to say, now's the time for it.
This was a real interesting seed to watch. I was full on entrance randomizer, but I should have.
Well, I guess it just happens to go that way with Classic. The map is not randomized in any way, so I think the caves being much more linear and to where they lead in the regular randomizer setup gives you these really jerky and jarring warps around the map in the classic version. So a little something to keep in mind for those that may be running it in the future.
The only other thing I've got is if you enjoyed this race, please give our runners a follow. Also, my partner Frico, he did a great job on commentary tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the plug. It was a pleasure doing this with you, Stuart, and look forward to doing it again. I think with all that said, this might make me stay up a little late at night, give me some nightmares, but Maris, pretty good job on the tracker before he had to bow out. And I think we're going to shut it down.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.